You? Is anybody?
There's Molly, folks. That means your friends, the Goldbergs, are here. Brought to you by Does, the new kind of soap for everything in your wash. First, let's drop in on the Dozen family. Well, there's Daisy Dozen clearing off the dining room table. She's telling Ma.
You know that Mrs. Olmsted next door?
Yes?
Well, I was beating the drum about how simply snazzy Does is for dishes, but she didn't tumble. Guess she doesn't understand English.
Maybe you weren't speaking it, Daisy.
Oh, I really gave, Ma. I told you I had this simply revolting rule about my washing the supper dishes. Me, a woman with a social life.
Land sakes, Daisy, that's beside the point. Couldn't you just say Does is a new kind of soap? It does everything in the wash and everything for dishes, too?
Sure. I told her this divine Does has just everything for dishes. Why, Does makes suds that stand up till the last dish is done.
And it cuts grease like 60?
Yet it's simply sweet to my mitts.
Mitts, really, Daisy. Just tell Mrs. Olmsted Does is kinder to her hands.
I did, Ma. And I said those Does suds are no droops either. They stand up to the finish.
Did you make it clear she don't need to keep adding soap?
Sure. I told her Does gets those simply revolting pans clean on the downbeat.
Such talk, Daisy. You should have said Does cuts tough grease in less than half a minute.
I did, Ma, but she acted very strange, especially when I says, look at my hands. Ever see a smoother pair of romance grippers?
Good gracious, Daisy. I better phone poor Mrs. Olmsted and tell her in plain English what Does does, or she'll think we're all balmy.
Okay, Ma. Just tell her to give her dishes their daily dozen.
Well, translated freely, here's what Daisy's jive means. Does is the only leading granulated wash day soap that combines all this for dishes. It makes suds that stand up till the last dish is done, cuts grease like 60, yet it's kinder to your hands. Change to Does, D-U-Z. It has everything for dishes. And now the Goldbergs. Pretending is a game the two can play. And right now, Rosie is pretending to be in love with George to make her sister-in-law, Grace, jealous. And Grace has persuaded George to pretend that he is in love with Rosie so that Rosie won't be suspicious of the relations between Grace and George. It's a double game. And like all such things, it's getting out of hand very easily. Rosie has gone so far in her play acting that her parents are worried. And George thinks the girl is falling for him, and his conscience, which doesn't mind taking advantage of Sammy's absence, sticks at taking advantage of Sammy's sister. Listen.
Molly, don't be so beside yourself.
Let me fix something for you, Mother dear. Maybe you'll feel better. I don't think Rosie meant what she said.
But she said it. But she said it, Grace. You heard what she said. When? When did this happen with Rosalie and George? David, maybe you knew before me.
Me?
Maybe that's what was all the private conversations you and Rosalie was conversing recently together.
Molly, I'm getting nervous,
I'm
Molly.
sorry, David. I'm sorry. I'm so besides myself. But where was mine eyes? Where was mine eyes? Since when am I blind? Since when do I walk around blind? Since when? Since when? Since when? Since when? But sit and twiddle mine thumbs? That I wouldn't do. Oh, no. To school and away from Glastonbury, Rosie'll go. That I made up my mind. That my mind is final and finally away from Glastonbury. Grace, darling, will it be very exhausting for your condition, for you, darling, to scribble a letter for me to my best friend, Mrs. Bloom?
Mother,
What are you going to scribble, Molly?
David, I don't want you to give us the capital for Rosalie's college. What Rosalie has, that was for her college. Now it has to go for Grace's sister because it's important for Grace's sister. I want Grace's mind to be tranquil. Oi. Write me, yes, darling, what did I did with the stationery? Why am I so besides myself? The stationery's in the fruit bowl, maybe. Look, David, dear.
Fruit bowl?
I had a pencil. All right, let me a pencil ready. Here. Maybe Mrs. Bloom can gather together enough for the first turn.
What are you going to write, Molly? What?
Here. Sit, Grace, darling. Sit here, dear.
Yes, Mom.
Molly.
Here, you scribble me here, darling.
Molly.
Sit, David, please. Comfortable, darling?
Yes,
Comfortable,
yes.
darling? So write carefully, not shorthand. Write careful. The salutation first.
All right.
David, please.
All right.
Salutation. To Mrs. Bloom, capital. B. Double O's. Goes B for Bloom. my dearest friend.
All right.
Dearest friend. You got dearest friend?
Yes, Mother.
In every life, there comes a critical crisis.
Critical crisis.
Yes, critical.
Yes, Mother.
Critical crisis. I'm holding back crisis. That time has come to me.
My money you wouldn't take if you're in a critical crisis.
Telephone, David.
Tear up the letter, Molly.
Take the telephone.
Tear up the letter.
Sid Grace. David is taking it. I'm beside myself.
Mother, please.
Hello?
Uncle David,
Yeah?
Who?
is everything all right?
Yeah.
Who?
How does Mama feel?
Terrible.
Who, David?
Hold the wire. It's Rosie. Molly.
Rosie? Where is she?
Where are you, Rosie?
I'll be right home. Does Mama need anything from the store?
Do you need anything in the store? She wants to know.
No.
No, Rosalie.
Uncle David, have you got my check in a safe place?
Don't worry.
I'll have to cash it. Must I?
We'll see.
What will see?
Did Grace say anything?
Mama don't need anything.
Oh, is she sitting right there?
Mama don't need anything.
If Grace knew that I had the money.
All right, Rosie. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
What else did Rosalie want?
If you need anything.
Oh. Did she ask how I'm feeling?
Surely.
Oh, Mother, I wish.
She has to go away, Grace. She has to go away. She has to go away from Glastonbury. Never, Grace, did Rosalie take such a latitude. All right, she met boys. She met boys. Girls meet boys. She met boys. She said she loved Mikey Bloom. But this, I'm asking you, Grace. I'm asking you, David. Is George somebody for Rosalie?
But it's
No
only...
matter what it is, darling. Call George, Grace. Let me talk to him.
What good will it...
Mother should talk to him, Uncle David. He's not a kid.
Not a kid.
Well, he's a man who's been
He's
around.
been around, a man has been around. Call George, Grace. I'm too nervous. I'm too besides myself.
I'll call him.
Call him.
I'll call him and tell him plenty.
Don't tell him plenty. Tell him
Hello?
nothing. That's all.
Marcia's farm, please.
She's too
Mother,
young.
Mother, dear, would you mind, please? I think I left my sweater upstairs.
Oh,
I'm
man,
a
you
little
feel a
chilly.
chill?
Yes,
Feel
dear.
a draft. Surely.
Hello? Hello, Marcia. Is George there? Will you tell him to come to the phone, please? Uncle David, I think I left it in the closet.
On the closet, Molly. The sweater is
Mother
in the
won't
closet.
find it, Uncle David. It's under my blue coat.
Under the blue coat,
She
Molly.
won't find it, Uncle David.
That's all right. She'll find it.
I told you, Uncle David, she wouldn't find it.
You go find it. I'll talk to
Oh,
George.
no. No, I'll talk to him. I know just what to say to him.
Under the blue coat, Molly. It's upstairs.
Hello, George. Now, wait a minute. Don't threaten me. We're leaving here when I get good and ready, and that won't be until I've got what I came for. You said it and all of it. Now, look, any day now, so relax. Listen, they're speaking of shipping Rosie off to get her away from you, so keep it up. George, in a minute I'm going to sound off to you for Mrs. Goldberg's... Listen, George, we don't know who you are or what you are, but Rosie's much too young. You are always welcome in this house.
And he is welcome.
Of course you're encouraging her. You called her up to take her to the movies, didn't you?
You took her to school in the milk truck.
That's all right.
David, please.
There's nothing wrong with you.
She's too young.
She's just too young.
They're not so young.
David.
Yes, of course, that's exactly what I mean.
She should keep away.
Keep away.
Just keep away.
Let me talk to him. Oh, Jake?
Jake,
Tell him I'll call back.
who will you call back?
George.
He's on the phone?
Jake, please.
Let me.
Jake, Grace told him already.
What did you tell him?
To keep away from Rosie.
Do you mind if I repeat that statement?
Jake, please.
Don't
not
Jake
now.
me.
Here, Father.
Thank you.
Jake, now?
Hello, George?
Must be now.
This is Mr. Goldberg.
Quietly.
I am not so fine, thank you.
Gently.
Yes. Well, I just wish to repeat the statement my daughter-in-law made to you.
Jake.
Keep away from my daughter. That's all.
Let me, please.
If not, we will be obliged to send my daughter away from here in order to...
Let me, dear.
Precisely.
Let me.
Exactly.
Please, Jake.
Hold the wire, George. What do you want, Molly?
I want to talk.
What is there to talk? Everything has been said.
Everything has been said,
Mother,
Molly.
darling.
I don't want his feelings to be hurt.
What has his feelings got to do with that?
Everything. Give me feelings. Just because he's too old for Rosalie or whatever else I don't like, does that mean he has less feelings?
Don't start, Molly.
Don't start,
Let
Molly.
me.
Molly.
Give me, Molly.
So what are you going to say?
Hello,
That it
George.
wasn't said?
Hello, George. Why not?
What, why not?
Any time.
What any time?
Very well.
What very well?
Just a minute. He wants to talk to you, Grace.
Just tell him I said everything I meant to say, and I meant it.
Grace, please, I can't
Why
say that.
not?
Just a minute, George. Here, Grace, be kind.
You can't be kind to some people. They just don't understand kindness. Mother.
Just a minute, George.
Did you ever?
Rosalie? Just a minute, George.
Did George call me?
No, we called him.
Why?
Here, Grace.
Why?
I'll tell you why.
I know all your reasons, and they're all wrong.
Just a minute, George.
I'm old enough to love whoever I love and marry whoever I love, just the way Grace did.
Rosalie, just a minute, George.
When I get my money, I may want to use it myself. For myself and my husband if he needs it.
Rosalie.
Only Grace's sister stole some money from a bank, and that makes it important for me to give my money to Grace to give to her sister.
Rosie.
Well, who's more important, me and the one I love, or Grace's sister who stole some money to furnish a house? That's what I want to know. Who is? Your daughter or your son's wife's sister who's a thief?
Enough.
Yes, that's enough.
Goodbye, George. There's nothing more to be said at the moment.
So, Molly and Jake are caught tight between the game that Rosie is playing and the plan that Grace is working. But the question remains, how will Grace get the money? And how will Rosie expose her and George? You know, it seems to me this quarter hour gives you a pretty well-rounded picture of what a radio program should be. You get Molly Goldberg's heartwarming story, and you get some practical advice from the Duzum family, too. You know, like Pa Duzum says.
You see, Clayton, Ma Duzum's worked plenty hard, bringing up 2 youngsters and doing all her own work. And that's why I want her to have all the modern conveniences. Like, for instance, Duz.
Good for you, Pa. Duz certainly is a modern convenience. This new kind of soap does everything in the wash, from work shirts, towels, to pretty rayons. Yes, friends, compared to other leading granulated wash day soaps, Duz gives longer life to the nice colors you wash, plus unsurpassed whiteness for towels and real cleaning power for the dirtiest clothes. So make wash day easy. Let Duz do everything. And friends, remember, Duz, like all soaps, contains vitally needed war materials. So don't waste Duz. Measure it carefully into your machine. See to it that every bit of Duz you use does more. Be sure to listen to the next episode of The Goldbergs, written for you by Gertrude Berg. Grace tries to find out what's holding up the money, and Rosie's hand is on the point of being forced. This is Clayton Collier speaking and reminding you to do as the Duzums do. Let Duz, the new kind of soap, do everything in your wash.